So there, we're starting to record. Good morning. The first thing I want to ask you, if you have questions, anything that you are still sort of uncertain about, any clarifying questions that you have, I would be happy to answer right now. Let's start there. Okay, what do you got for me? And can you turn your cameras on? I just have a bunch of black screens. I can only see Zoe. Hi, Zoe. Thank you. It just makes me feel like I'm talking to myself. No questions at all?
No questions.
No questions. Okay. Well, I think where I want to start is I want to start with expectations of discussions. You guys had 2 discussion boards this week, and those were your first 2. But you will have a discussion board every week with the Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, which we will discuss next, and then we'll go to the practice test. So I just read your discussions for the Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. I haven't graded those yet. I just read them because they were done at 11:30 last night, and so I couldn't really grade them before then. And this morning I didn't have time to carefully look at them. I also did read and grade your other discussion for the text-to-text connections. And so I'm going to share my screen quickly here, and I want to go over the directions with you again. And I'm going to talk to Ugbad, and Samaya's not here, but we need to talk about unchecking a box, because that is going to affect your grade this next week if you don't uncheck it. And it's easy, and I will walk you through it, but we'll do that after class is over, okay? All right, so I'm going to share my screen. And don't need that. All right, so here is the Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. This is part 1. This is what you did last week. This is closed now. It's shut down. And I just want to go over expectations, because what I saw from everybody was a very short, it was a reaction more than a reflection. It was more like, oh, I connected to this. Oh, I liked it. Oh, it was funny. It was very surfacey and short. So I don't know. Have you looked at your procedure packet? How long do reflection papers need to be? What is the requirement for reflection papers?
I think 300 words.
300
At least 300 words. So this is a reflective letter. It should be at least 300 words. 3 or 4 sentences is not a college level reaction.
Okay.
So that means that you need to dig deep. And when you say I have connections, then you need to explain those connections, and you need to add on to those connections. And personal connections are fantastic. You can start there, but then I want you to start thinking about society and about the world and about how all of this works. And this book was published, oh man, a while ago. I'll just quick look. This book was published, okay, and I'm blind, so hold on. 1966. So this is an old book, right? And I want you to think about that date. In 1966, he was writing this. And how come it's still relevant today, right? Like, is it not relevant today, right? I want you to start talking about the implications of what he's talking about. And he's a great writer, and it is funny, and the story is really good. I think we left off at a really good place after chapter 6 because it makes me want to read the next chapter. I don't know about you, but I want you to know that I'm just grading this one on completion. If you did your post and you replied to your classmates, because that is part of the requirement, is that you replied to your classmates. So if you did both of those, you will get full credit. I know some people did not reply to their classmates, so you will have a lower grade because that is something that is required. That's part of being in this group, is to read the other people's letters and reply. And that shouldn't take that long, but it is a requirement. And when you are replying, it needs to be more than a, oh, I agree with that, period, and that's it. You need to discuss what they're talking about. So I know that there was a person that said something like, this reminds me of when I was living in a refugee camp. That is a fantastic connection, really good connection. And how you would reply to that was, oh my goodness, I can't, like, what was that like? This should be a discussion, right? It's online, but it should be a discussion. You should be asking questions of each other and answering questions of each other. Okay? So this is how we're going to do better next week. And I bet I'll give you some more feedback next week and we'll do better the next week, right? So don't worry about it, but 300 words, try and draw some conclusions and deeply discuss this text, okay? So number 2 says, the letter is expected to be an academic and comprehensive reflection on the text, right? My expectation is that you are using critical thinking as you reflect and drawing conclusions about the world, agreeing or disagreeing with the author's perspective, and illustrating your argument. Okay? So make sure that you are going way deep with this. Like, overdo it is what I'm telling you. Overdo it. And that will probably be right. Okay? Are there questions about expectations about the discussion boards? Okay. All right, so we're going to do a discussion, and since there are only 5 people here, I was going to put you into groups, but people are not coming to our required thing, so I'm just going to use you as one big group. So what I would like to do is, you guys have your notebooks handy? Good. Then I'm going to just ask you some questions, and I want you to just jot down some thinking, and then we're going to have a discussion about that. And I'm going to be quiet, and I'll turn my microphone off so I don't talk, because I tend to talk a lot, and I need to stop myself. So we'll have a little bit of a discussion. But the first question that I have for you is, how does Sherman Alexie illustrate poverty? Now, here's my first question, and I want you to answer this before we think, okay? Who is the audience for Sherman Alexie's book? Who is he writing about? Who did he want to read this book? When he decided to write this book, who did he want to read it? Like, what groups of people?
The people who have a hard life.
So what kinds of people? Like, just like other Indians, other Native Americans?
No,
Who?
it's like
People who are struggling.
He wants to illustrate this to people who are struggling?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
Everyone.
Everyone? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is my opinion, and see, this is where I talk too much and I should shut up, but I think that he is trying to inform us And I think it's for people who don't live on a reservation. Because don't you think that the people who live on the reservation already kind of know this? This is their experience. They might want to read it because they connect with it a lot.
Yep.
But I think that when Sherman Alexie wrote the book, he's trying to educate other groups of people. And I think he's trying to educate some white people, right? Some white middle class people. And I'm going to call those people dominant culture. Okay? The dominant culture in the United States is white middle class. Do you agree? And so we need to have, he wants to educate those people so everybody can know what other kinds of experiences happen in the United States, right? Isn't that what's important, so we can be inclusive of everybody? Right. Okay, so that's my take on it. So my question is, how does Sherman Alexie illustrate poverty to dominant culture? How does he illustrate that? What are some examples that he uses in the book to illustrate that poverty, so people who are not living in poverty understand how hard it is to live in poverty?
When he talk about like the
Schools, that's a great one. So tell me about that.
he said like you have it in hard time because you have a big hair with waters. So when the child see him, like some are they laughing, some are they get scared.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing about the math book, right?
Oh, how his mom had the same book. His mom used the same book.
Exactly. So his mom had been out of school for a long time. They didn't have current books. So he was angry about that. And that's one of my favorite scenes, is when he throws his book at his teacher. Don't do that. Well, it's virtual. You can't throw your books at me. So it's fine. Usually in class, I'm like, do not throw your book at me. And then somebody inevitably tries, but it's fine. What other illustrations does he do? What other things does he talk about?
How they'll starve for like multiple days or won't eat like all day, or they'll eat like one thing because they don't have money
Right?
to buy food really.
Yes, and it's called Why Chicken Means So Much to Me. It's that chapter 2. And so I have a question. We have this conversation in America about hunger a lot, and we don't solve the problem, right? It's sort of like, there are food shelves, right? We just don't solve that problem. So I think that many people know about this problem and they don't do anything. There's no action. So how does he hit that dominant culture hard so they can feel how difficult it would be to be in poverty? It's in that same chapter, How Chicken Means So Much to Me. What else happens in that chapter? It's in chapter 2. What else happens? You can look in your book. I'm on page like 10 right now. What else happens?
I forgot his friend's name. I think it starts with an R.
Oscar?
No, Oscar. No. Yeah, that's his name, right? Sorry,
Is
I
it
don't
his
have my
friend?
book by me, but
Rowdy is his friend.
how Rowdy, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
How his parents are like alcoholics and they're like angry all the time.
Abusive. Really.
We spoke about
Yeah.
the revenge.
Yeah. Right. So Rowdy's household, he talks about how his home is a safe place for Rowdy, right? So Rowdy can come and stay there when his dad gets abusive. And then Rowdy calls all of the injuries that he gets, he calls them war paint, right? Yeah. So abuse, right? Lack of education. I do want to talk about Oscar. Who's Oscar?
His dog.
Yeah.
His-
Yeah. It's his dog, right? What happened to Oscar?
He has medical issues.
He's sick, right? He's sick,
Yeah,
and on page 10 he says, he's really sick, Mom. He's gonna die if we don't take him to the doctor. And then she looked hard at me and her eyes weren't dark anymore. So I knew that she was going to tell me the truth. And trust me, there are times when the last thing you want to hear is the truth. Junior, sweetheart, Mom said, I'm sorry, but we don't have money for Oscar. I'll pay you back, I said, I promise. Honey, it'll cost hundreds of dollars, maybe even 1,000. I'll pay back the doctor. I'll get a job. Mom smiled all sad and hugged me hard. Right? And then further down it says, there was nothing I could do to save Oscar. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So I laid down on the floor beside him and patted his head and whispered his name for hours. And then his dad comes home, right? And he has to shoot him. So I think that scene illustrates poverty to dominant culture even more than talking about being hungry and talking about lack of education and all of it, because a lot of people in dominant culture have pets, right?
Yeah.
And they would take their pet to the doctor. They would take them to the vet. And because they love their pet so much, that puts them in a place where they can feel empathy. The people in dominant culture probably have never had to go for days without eating, right? They can't relate to that. They can relate to having to shoot their pet, right? So Sherman Alexie does a really good job of putting the reader in a place that they're not used to being. Does that make sense? And this theme of poverty will go through the whole book. So as you're reading, you can start taking note of those themes, right? Is there any other theme that's going through that you can think of? I'm going to turn my my microphone off so I don't lead the conversation anymore, because I just did, and I can't stop myself. So I'm going to turn my microphone off, and I want you to think about what other themes are there, and then I have another couple of questions for you. But first I want you to think about what other themes do you think will be floating through this book. So I'm turning it off and I'm listening.
Actually, I would say the character of Rowdy and his best friend. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question about that, Priyanshi. Yeah, I think that's a really huge theme of friendship. And on page 24, Junior asks if your best friend can be more important than your family. What do you guys think about that? How would you answer that question?
So like if you have some important person, you will respect only that person. If you only family, others.
He seems protective.
Trust and understanding.
Well, I think it's because they're each other's only friends too.
Mm,
All right, I put a question in the chat. I can't stand it. You know that. I hate this when I can't talk. So, do you guys have friends like family? Do you have anybody that you have that's so close that you would consider them family?
yeah. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't.
You don't?
No.
I don't have others, especially like I have a sister.
Yes, I do.
Right?
Okay. Okay. I have a friend that's like family. I grew up with her and we've been best friends since, I don't know, 3rd grade or something like that. It doesn't mean that I see her all the time. Our relationship goes in spurts and starts, right? I haven't seen her. I saw her at the beginning of, I don't know, March, I think. And we've been in, quarantine since then, so we haven't seen each other. I've talked to her a couple times. But there have been days where we talk every single day for months, and then we don't. So, yep, she's like my family. But do you think that Rowdy, what do you think is going to happen when Junior goes to Reardon for school?
They're going to probably lose touch.
Maybe. Do you think Rowdy's going to react in any way, or how do you think that's going to happen?
Mm, Probably he might like act out. No.
Well, that's his character, right? He's violent.
Yeah.
He's violent, right? So maybe. I mean, I'm just thinking of the scene where he trips and hurts himself and lashes out at Junior. So I'm a little bit worried about what's going to happen to Junior when he tells Rowdy that he's, especially because they're each other's only friend. That means he's abandoning Rowdy, right?
Like they beat Junior. They kind of like bullied him, and then Rowdy take their revenge.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes too. And they're 40 years old. Picking on a kid. That's so weird.
Means like age is just numbers. So if you don't understand to each others, no one can stop it.
Yeah, that's true. Point. All right, I have one more question for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
How does education influence success? And here's another theme that I was hoping you would pick up on. How does systematic racism come into the play here?
So the second one, I think is like when everyone was playing with him and he was in a home and making a picture talk about like making a cartoon and explaining how he did himself and he don't have any to talk to him.
Right? I'm going to talk about Mr. P here. How does Mr. P illustrate systematic racism?
He was telling them about, like, I don't remember the exact words, but I think it was like they tried to like not make them Indian, like take away their culture, that
Right.
thing.
Yep, I'm on
Mhm.
page 35, and Brittany, that's exactly what I was pointing to. We were supposed to kill the Indian to save the child, right? That was his phrase.
Yeah.
Kill the Indian to save the child. And then, of course, Junior says, "You killed Indians?" And he says, no, it was just a saying. We didn't literally kill Indians. We were supposed to make you give up being an Indian. Your songs and stories and language and dancing, everything. We weren't trying to kill Indian people. We were trying to kill Indian culture. Right? And by the way, that was US policy. And that's true. I know this is a novel, but that is true. That was an initiative, that was US policy. They sent white teachers onto the reservation, and that was the goal. So how does that play into thundering? I'm like, God's gonna strike me down. How does that play into the schools on the reservation?
The teachers have to live there.
Yeah, the teachers have to live there.
Yeah.
And he sleeps in, right? They have to go get him out of bed sometimes. Right? Crazy. And they have old books, and they've had the same teacher for years and years and years. They don't have a lot of teachers. They don't have a lot of volunteers because teachers have to like give up their lives to go and sit and teach there. And the fact that they don't have any native teachers is weird. Living on the reservation, why wouldn't you hire some people that lived there, right? So he makes a decision based on what his mom and dad say, because remember how he asked that question? He said, "Who has the most hope?" And they said, "Who has the most hope?"
Junior.
When he asked that question, both of the parents responded at like the exact same time.
I don't know who's talking, but I can't hear you. Say it louder.
Oh, I said when he asked his parents that question, they both responded at the exact same time, like with saying white people.
White people have the most hope, right?
Yeah.
And then he decided that he was going to Reardon. And they all thought he was going to transfer to different schools on the reservation, and he decides to go to the rich white school. So that's where we ended, right? That's where we ended. So what do you think is going to happen next? What are your predictions for the next chunk of the book?
I guess
How Junior's parent will react.
Okay. They said yes already. But what do you think will happen next? So how his parents are going to deal with it. How do you think his parents are going to deal with it?
I think they're just gonna be scared for him. They don't want him
Supportive,
to
like
get disappointed.
Yeah, so I'd be scared too. I'd be scared about sending my child somewhere where I didn't know very much and it would be different than my experience. Absolutely. What else?
it's surprised but supportive.
They are supportive, right? And it did surprise him.
Yeah.
So what else do you think is going to happen? What other predictions do you have?
Rowdy's reaction isn't gonna be so well.
So we're going to know what Rowdy does. And you've already talked about that. We've talked about how violent he is. So we think maybe he's not going to react well. What else do you think is going to happen?
They want a better life for their son.
Of course. But I want you to think about like the story. What's going to happen next in the story? So we are probably going to have a reaction from Rowdy and we're predicting that it's not going to be good, right? We have a prediction about how his parents are going to be worried about him and not know exactly how to support him. What's something else that might happen in the story?
They start playing their flag.
They start playing what?
Like this is like playing them in a flag football.
Yes, they play. Yes. So they're going to stop playing those games. Is that what you're talking about? Okay. What else might happen? Don't look ahead. Are you guys cheating in there? No. This is just from your head. Based on the story so far, what do you think is going to happen? Is he going to go to Reardon, do you think?
I think so.
You think so? And how is that going to go for him?
I think he might have to deal with a lot more bullying, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, he's already dealing with bullying, right? The whole school bullies him, beats him up, right? So you think it's going to get worse when he gets to the white school? Makes sense. Anybody have something different?
How Rowdies will react to Junior's decision when he will change the school.
Yeah, how is that going to be? How will
I don't know how to word this, but like his demeanor might change. Like he might like start acting different, you know?
take on the white culture?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of scary for him too, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Because that is part of his, I mean, that's losing part of your identity.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have some good predictions to start off the next chunk for this week. And it's going to work the exact same way. You have the pages in content, and here I will share to show you. Content. And we're in week 3 now, right? So we'll go to week 3. And I'm just going to go right to Monday. And here is your True Diary assignment. It is right here. And it's going to, I don't even remember. I think it's on, I don't remember. I probably could have stayed on the assignment thing and it would have been better. But here's our assignment schedule. And you're going to be reading chapters 7 through 12. So another about 50 pages, is about the same as you read this week. You're going to write and post your reflective letter, and you're going to write at least 300 words. And then you're going to read and reply to your group mates. So it's the same thing this week, okay? Okay. And I want you to be thinking about all of those predictions that we just made. See if we're right or if we're wrong or what happens, right? I want to talk to you about the summative test next. So today is our test day. And here is your place to go. There are directions right here. But I want to be really clear about how the test is going to run, okay? The test is in quizzes. So you've all been doing your practice quizzes. For chapter 1, you've practiced doing practice quizzes. It's going to be in the same format as those practice quizzes, but it's going to be a test. So this is evaluative, right? And then there's also an application part that you are going to get when you're in the quiz. So you're going to be in the test and you're going to be taking the test, and then you're going to get to a place and it's going to have an attachment. And that attachment, I will show you the attachment. That's not it. The attachment is here, okay? You're going to be doing an outline and a map, and you're going to outline and a map the essay that you're going to be reading. You will need your textbook for this. So the outline and the map are going to be on these pages. And then there is an annotation part right here. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to be annotating in your book, in your textbook. You're going to be annotating. And you're just going to take pictures of your annotation, and then you're going to copy and paste them right here. Okay? So copy and paste those pictures right in the document here. And just make sure that they're in order and not like sideways and upside down. So you're just going to have to put them right in here. And then after you have your annotations put in here, you're going to outline and map it. Or, sorry, outline or map this. Okay, you're going to choose. So this worksheet here, this is you're going to have to do your stuff on this worksheet, save it to your hard drive, and then upload it into the assignment folder. So this part is uploaded. The rest is all in quizzes. Are there questions about that? Zoe, are you talking because you're muted?
Sorry, yeah. I know, what do you mean by mapping it?
That was in a textbook chapter. And so you should have done a little bit of practice with mapping. I think it's chapter 2 or 3, chapter 3. Okay, so
Okay.
mapping in chapter 3, I don't have my book. Oh, there it is. On the floor. So So this was in supporting details, right? Right? Oh my gosh. You guys, I'm so sorry. You know that I'm working ahead for next week, right? So I just gave you the wrong. I'm sorry. I'm ahead a week. You're not mapping or anything yet. Sorry. I'm sorry. You're not mapping or anything. Hold on. You do have an application part though. So next week, when I tell you that, you'll be like, oh yeah, you told us this week. All right, so can we go over practice test? I can tell you about the annotation part. Sorry. Am I in the wrong week up here too? Is it week 2 or week 3? It's week 3, right? Hold on. Now I'm worried. Metacognitive reading, application for test 1. Yeah, okay, it's right. This is right. I am wrong. I am wrong. So here, let's go over the practice test. I can show you what you're going to be doing. So I'm just going to scroll ahead. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. So this part, the T-chart right here, this is going to be on the worksheet. Okay? And you will have like a different text, but like this will be on the worksheet. And so you will just annotate here, annotate, and then do the T-chart. And then save it to your hard drive and upload it to your assignment folder. Does that sound a little bit better? I'm really glad you asked that question because my brain is next week right now. Sorry. God. Sorry. All right. So do you guys have questions about any of these items on the practice test? I will tell you what they are if you have questions. So let's do it. And then you can take your test and it will be easy. So this is all definition stuff. Easy, right?
Do you, on the test, does it tell us, like, you want it to be, like, at least 3 sentences or something?
I
I
don't.
didn't know if I should have kept it long or, like, short. I didn't know.
What do you mean long or short?
Like, do you want it to be, like, a paragraph defining it or just a few sentences?
No,
like
just
2 sentences.
just the definition. Just the definition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Are we ready our own definition or?
I think I gave you definitions. Do you have questions about that? Do you have a definition that you don't know? Because I'll tell you if you ask. Okay. All right, so the first page is okay? All right, and you understood this. Any other questions you don't understand or that you don't know the answer to? This is your chance to get the answers if you want to. Okay. So I just want to clarify that this part right here, you're just writing a prediction before you read of what the text will be about. You don't have to answer this question. This is the name of the text. So you're just going to write a prediction here, right? And then your annotation will be on your separate worksheet, but you still need to do it. And your T-chart here will be on your separate worksheet, but you still need to do it. Anything else that I can help you with? I do want you to know that you need to answer each question. Where in the text did you feel that you had lost or are about to lose comprehension? You need to answer it. And you need
For question, sorry.
go ahead.
For question 9, what it says annotate, do you wanted us to annotate, right? And then just put our notes after on 10? Okay.
Yes, yes. That means to just annotate the text. Yep. So you need to answer this question. And don't answer it like, oh, I understood everything. Because I know there are hard parts. So figure out where your hard part is and put that down here, okay? And you need to write anything that you're confused about.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
Oh, the one that says the text from your head and the text from the problem.
This
Yeah,
one?
that one.
The
Yeah,
part?
that one. Something from your head. Yeah, what am I doing with that one?
Okay, so this goes back to the difficult text voice thread. And we did problems from the text and strategies here, but this can be any notes from the text wherever you're doing some thinking and problem solving. You quote the text over here, and then your thinking goes over here.
Okay.
Okay. And this again is going to be on the worksheet that you're going to upload, right? I couldn't figure out how to get that into the quiz, so. Anything that you want me to go over?
The part where it says the background and activating the background and something like that. Oh, here, yeah,
Why is activating your background knowledge?
background knowledge and making connections.
Okay, so try answering that. Why is activating your background knowledge and making connections important when you read? Why do you think? Just take a guess. It's okay. Why do you think it's important to activate your background knowledge and make connections?
It makes it easier to read and
Understand?
stay.
Yeah, right? Yeah, this makes it you understand the text better, right? Yeah. Anything else? How did you do with your text about the Albion?
It was a bit difficult, actually, for me.
So,
Yeah,
so
I
how
did
did you
struggle a bit.
define it, Priyanshi? How did you define Albion?
It's about maybe I understood it like completely on a different process. Like the Albians are they and something connected with the insects, or something like uh, connecting with from many years ago,
Okay.
some people, something like that. I didn't understood the article like correctly, like
It's hard, right? And
yeah,
I made it
kind of
hard.
confusing actually.
I did that on purpose because right, I want you to problem solve the text. So Albions are social insects of the family, whatever. And
I
along
almost visualized like something different while reading the text,
Mhm.
but
Right? So if you're defining what an Albion is, it is an insect, right? Doesn't it say that? Yeah.
it is an insect. But at some point they talk about a human, so I don't know like what are the connections.
Where does it say human? Oh,
Where,
human cultures
yeah,
of Albions in cuisine, medication, and rituals. What does that mean? Many human cultures make use of Albions in cuisine, medication, and rituals. What is cuisine?
They eat them.
They eat them,
okay.
right?
I
And
don't, I don't,
for medicine and other rituals. So that's what they're talking about humans, but they're still talking about Albions, right? So our definition up here is still an insect, and then we can be more specific than that. Social insects, right? Right. The first paragraph really could be the whole definition, right? So what is another name for Albion?
um I almost forgot what I was going to say.
Did anybody figure out what the name is? What is another name for Albion?
Is it something
A
connected with a
super
geologist, something like that?
Well, it's an insect, right? We've already defined it as an insect. But what's another name for
not
Albion?
the
Bee?
super organism.
You said a bee,
Called
but it
it.
can't be a bee because it's related to bees, right? It says along with relate, and along with the related wasps and bees. So it's related to bees. So an Albion can't be a bee, or they would have just said it's a bee, right?
Yeah.
So it's related to bees. So we know it's an insect that's related to bees. And we know that it's a social insect. And they belong to the same order as bees. What kind of an insect could this be?
I thought that they were like ants.
How did you
Like,
figure that out? What proof do you have that this is an ant?
it said that they have antennas.
So this is what they look like. Elbowed antenna and a distinctive
Oh.
node-like structure that forms a slender waist.
Also, they're in colonies, and they have like a queen or like several queens.
Yep, and ants have colonies and they have queens, and this is big, wingless, right? Ants usually don't have wings. So you have some good evidence that this would be an ant, right? You have some background knowledge in ants, and that makes sense. So yeah, I guess that's what I would write. I would say an ant, and I would tell, how do you know? All of the things that you just said, Brittany, right? So does that help you think about how you're going to problem solve the next text that will be similar? Okay. And don't forget that that annotation strategy of what you know is really important, right? So if you're over here and you're like, oh, this, I know that bees have the same kind of home, like, right, there are beehives and there are ant colonies, right? And they're very similar. So you're thinking about that, right? Highly organized colonies. Workers, soldiers. So you should be writing down all of what you know as you go through this, because that will help you keep right at the forefront everything you know about what this is. And then you can go back and go, okay, what makes sense? What makes sense? Okay? Any other questions that you have? Anything else that was confusing that you don't know how to answer? Okay. So this is how it works. This test is open now. It opened at 9 o'clock. It will close tomorrow at 8 a.m. Once you open the quiz, and I'm going to just, I'll do that for you. Once you open the quiz, so this is what it will look like. Well, nope, it won't, because I'm not in as a student, because I never am in. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Content. Metacognitive reading. Okay, and just remember that when you get here and you open the tests, open the quiz, right? You will have 2 hours. Okay, 2 hours to do the test, and then it will close. So make sure that you have a quiet place and that people aren't going to disturb you for those 2 hours, and make sure you have all the stuff that you need with you. All right, and then you can do that. And then make sure that you're saving that extra document and you are uploading it to the assignment folder. So you're going to have to go back into Monday, into your summative test module, and here's the assignment folder. Okay. And that also ends, like closes down tomorrow at 8 a.m. So you have to get this test done by 8 a.m. tomorrow. There's no wiggle room on this one, okay? So I would start here. And then you'll move into your next unit, which is articulating the main idea. And you have your true diary assignment. So today, for articulating the main idea, you have a voice thread and you have a study read. And I'm going to tell you about the study read. The study read is going to be using chapters 2, 3, and 4 as one big chapter. So and I'm going to go through it with you on the video, on the voice thread, on how to do this, but you can see, do you see my post-it notes here? You're going to post-it note your book just like this. And And so you're going to have a Post-it note on the first page of chapter 2. And then you're going to have a Post-it note on the last page of chapter 2 where the chapter review is. And those are the only pages that you're going to read for this study read. And then you're going to do the same thing with chapter 3 from the first page to the last page. But you can see that it's a lot longer than you have to do. We're just going to pull out the content, and I will tell you how to do that in this voice thread. Okay? And so you're going to be reading, and you're going to hand in one outline and one summary that includes all 3 chapters. So this is going to be like your big chapter on main idea. Does that make sense? And that is it for today, is just the voice thread and this study read. And then of course the test, okay? And then tomorrow we'll move on to the next thing. I can't remember. I think it's just a video. And maybe a responsive reading. Yikes. Oh no. Jeez. So then there's a voice thread tomorrow about note taking. And here is a video that I model, and then you'll have a study read on an article here. So you're practicing that. So you're going to do a lot of study reads this week, because that's what we're going to be talking about, is main idea and supporting details and how that all works together. Okay? So you'll have lots of practice with your study reading this week. And then next Monday, we'll take the test on articulating main idea. And the word articulating just means naming. It's just a big word that means that you can name the main idea. Okay? Are there questions about homework or anything this week? I hope you've looked at the week at a glance, and you have your course schedule all set to go, whether it's up on your computer or if you print. Here's the overview video. Make sure to look at that, and here is your to-do lists and what's due. Okay? I don't have anything else for you. If you have something else for me, I can answer questions. And I would like Ugbad and Samaya to stay on so we can fix your check mark thing. And I wanted to talk to Khadija and Priyanshi too. So can you guys stay too? Otherwise, the rest of you, I don't have anything unless you have questions for me. Awesome. Well, I think that you guys are getting the hang of it. Are you feeling like you're getting the hang of this? You're feeling a little bit better? Good. So this week is going to be all main idea all the time. And then next week we'll start a 2-week unit again. So we'll have a week where you don't have a test. So that'll be good. You may email me anytime and request a Zoom meeting anytime, and I am more than happy to meet with you. Okay, so don't forget that. And you guys just have a great week. And then I want Ugbad, Samaya, Priyanshi, and Khadija to stay. Okay? All right.
Bye.
See you guys later. Okay.
Yes.
Khadija, are you still here? There you are. And Priyanshi,
I'm
I
here.
want to talk to you guys about discussions. And I wrote this in some discussions, and then I didn't. So I'm going to just go to Priyanshi because you're here.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it's this part that I would like to talk to you about. So when you want to reply to somebody, and both of you did this, you started a new thread with your replies instead of replying. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to reply to Zoe here, right? This is a reply to Zoe. And then I put, please use the reply button. So I'm going to show you, well, this is closed and I'm in as a student now, for crying out loud. I tell ya, they make it hard. There we go. Now I have to go there again.
The thing is, I couldn't figure out like where to reply, so that was the confusing part. So I just like clicked on the new thread and just write reply to Zoe, and then I went to the website again. I tried to click on every button I could, and
Okay.
then I got it like how to go in. I have to click on the discussion board again, and then click on the reply.
So you know how to do it now. I was just
Yeah.
going to show you. I was just going to show you. If you already know, then that's okay. But I'm going
But
to.
I do have another question as well.
Oh, sure.
Actually, the thing is, for the moment right now we have a test, and it is like for 2 hours. But in
That's
case,
the maximum amount.
Yes.
It probably won't take you 2 hours.
and we have only one time to complete the text, that right? We don't have another retake for that.
Nope, just once.
My thing is that I am leaving for Wisconsin tonight, and
Okay.
I won't be back till Thursday.
Okay.
And the place where I am going, I'm gonna reach to Wisconsin like for tomorrow.
Okay.
Like tomorrow around in the morning, I'm gonna reach there. But the place I am going, I don't think that there is Wi-Fi there. That's my concern. So suppose if I haven't complete my test, so will I be able like to complete it today itself?
I think that I think you should start now.
Okay.
Just start it
Yeah.
now and get it done. And the rest of it is more, there's a little wiggle room, but the test, there's no wiggle room. Okay. So
Okay.
start it now and get it done. And then you don't have to worry about that. And
Okay.
then I would look through the week and see what you can do offline, right? Like it's going to be hard for you to do the discussion board because that's on D2L, right?
Yes.
But you could do the study read.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do that.
Does that make sense?
I'll try to do the maximum today before I leave to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And I'm going to work on my test right now.
Yep.
And if there is anything, I'm gonna call you back on
Yep.
Zoom.
Yep, absolutely. I'll be here all day. So
Okay,
waiting
perfect.
for you.
Thank
Okay. So Khadija, do you understand how to do this?
I don't. I tried to do, but it didn't go for me.
Okay, so I'm on this, and this is where Priyanshi, she just replied in a new thread. But what you do is you just reply to the thread like that. And then you just say anything you want in here. And then when you post it,
Oh,
and I'm going to post it even though it's, I'm going to say, this is an example,
okay. So reply.
right? And then you just post. And then it's underneath the original. Do you see that?
Oh, yeah.
So it's not a new thread. And that will keep our conversations in order. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank
actually, I have
you.
another question as well. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Did you got my my assignment for Monday? I just want to make sure that you have received it.
Which
The college fear factor.
the fear factor one?
Yes.
I can look, but can you hang on just a minute? Because that's
Yes.
an individual thing. I need to talk to Sumaya and Ugbad, and then we can
Yeah.
do that. Okay. Khadija, did you understand?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. That's
Okay.
all I had for you. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay.
No,
Then I'll
thank you.
see you later. Have a
Okay,
good
see you later.
All right. Samaya
You too.
and Ugbad. here's what I need you to do. Are you ready? Is Samaya there? Samaya. Samaya. It doesn't look like she is. She stepped away. Dear. Okay. All right, I asked to unmute her and she is not there. So Ugbad, I'm going to show you. On your computer, can you navigate away from Zoom and get onto the discussion board? Can you do that in your computer right now? And you can unmute yourself so you can talk to me. Ugbad. Can you unmute? There you go. So can you get onto the discussion board?
Yeah, can I share with you?
Yeah, you don't need to share with, well, you can, but you don't need to because you can just follow along as I'm talking. So, Samaya, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So, Samaya, can you get onto the discussion board too?
Yeah.
Okay. Once you're on the discussion board, I would like you to, you don't have to do any, like you don't have to go to any topic or any forum or anything. You just need to be in the discussion board and let me know when you're there. Are you there?
Yeah.
Are you there, Ugbad?
Yes.
Okay. So on the, at the top of the page, it says discussion list, view topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the very top after, like if you look at discussions and go all the way to the right hand side, you will see something that says settings. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Do you see that, Ugbad? Settings?
Nope.
Okay. It's at the top of the page on the right hand side, and next to it it says help. It says settings and help. Do you see it?
Not yet.
Okay. Samaya, I'm going to do this with you and then I'll do it with Ugbad, okay?
Okay.
Click on settings.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on it.
All right. And then scroll down where it says reply settings. It's like the third bolded thing down. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And that box that says include original post in reply, uncheck it.
Okay.
Make sure it doesn't have a check mark and then save.
Okay. Yeah, I did it.
Then that's all I need you to do because I'm going to start taking points off if you include the posts in the reply. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So, Ugbad,
I find it now.
you found it? Do you want to share your screen so I can help you, or are you good?
I can share.
Okay, share your screen. And Samaya, that's all I had for you. So if you want to hang around, you can, but otherwise you have a good week, okay?
Okay. Thank you. You too.
See you later.
Bye.
Not working. I don't know why.
Oh, because I'm sharing. I'll stop. Sorry. Okay, now try it.
Right there.
Okay, so, right? Display settings. Okay, so do you see where it stopped right there? It says personal.
There?
Yep, uncheck that.
Okay.
Yep, and now save it. Done. Perfect. That's it. Good job.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'll see you next week. Let me know if you need me, okay?
Okay, I will.
Okay, great. See you later.